Hi everybody, in this video we are going to find the 6 trigonometric functions for 3 special angles, and those angles are going to be the 60-degree angle, the 45-degree angle, and the 30-degree angle. And as you can see, we are going to start with the 60-degree angle right here. Now, this triangle may look familiar to you. You were probably first introduced to it in your middle school or high school geometry class. This is the 30, 60, 90 triangle, where the side opposite 30 is 1, the side opposite 90 has the length 2, and the side opposite 60 has the length square root of 3, and as you can guess, the Pythagorean theorem actually holds. Okay, so what is the sine of 60? Well, the sine of 60 is going to be equal to the square root of 3, the side opposite 60, which is the square root of 3 divided by the hypotenuse. Okay, so that was relatively straightforward. That will be root 3 divided by 2. Okay, what will its cosecant be? Well, its cosecant is going to be the reciprocal of that, which will be 2 divided by the square root of 3. However, we're not allowed to have radicals in our denominator, so we need to rationalize this by multiplying both sides by root 3 over root 3. And then that will give us 2/3 times the square root of 3. Okay, let's go to cosine. Cosine is going to be the adjacent, in this case, which is 1 divided by the hypotenuse, which is 2, so that's just simply going to be 1/2. And what is secant going to be? Simply just 2. Okay, the reciprocal of that. And then finally, we just need to do tangent. Tangent of 60 is going to be the opposite, which is the square root of 3, divided by the adjacent, which is 1, so that's just simply the square root of 3. And then the cotangent is going to be the reciprocal, and that is going to be 1 divided by the square root of 3. Once again, we cannot have a radical in the denominator, so we're going to multiply this by 1, or namely root 3 over 3, and that is going to give us the square root of 3 divided by 3. Okay, so that takes care of our 60-degree angle. Let's move on to our 45-degree angle. And this is the 45, 45, 90 triangle, which also was probably introduced to you when you took your first geometry course. What is the sine of this angle? Well, that's going to be opposite divided by hypotenuse, 1 divided by the square root of 2. Once again, we cannot have a radical for a denominator, so when I rationalize this, I'm going to have the square root of 2 over 2. Okay, what is the cosecant? Well, it's going to be the reciprocal of this, which will just simply be the square root of 2. For cosine, once again, we are going to have the adjacent is 1 divided by the hypotenuse, which is root 2. When this is rationalized, we will have the square root of 2 divided by 2. The reciprocal of that is going to be nothing more than the square root of 2. All right, and then finally, for tangent, we are going to have opposite divided by adjacent. That, you guessed it, that's going to be 1. And then its reciprocal, well, obviously, is also going to be 1. Okay, so that takes care of 60 and 45 degrees, and if we want to, we can actually put those into a table, and here they are. What do we have next? Well, we still need to figure out what 30, but remember, 30 and 60 are complements of each other, and sine and cosine are cofunction pairs. So the sine of 30 is the cosine of 60, so that's going to be 1/2. Okay, once again, since sine and cosine are cofunctions pairs, the cosine of 30 is going to be equal to the sine of 60, which will be root 3 divided by 2. Along the same line of thinking, keep in mind, remember, tangent and cotangent are also cofunction pairs. Okay, so the tangent of 30 is going to be the cotangent of 60. That will be the square root of 3 divided by 3. And the cotangent of 30 will be the tangent of 60, root 3. Okay, and then these are also cofunction pairs. So the secant of 30 will be the cosecant of 60, 2/3 times the square root of 3. And then finally, the cosecant of 30 will be the secant of 60, or 2. Okay, so when you put all that stuff together, we have our complete table. Now, keep in mind, do I want you to memorize this table? No. I want you to learn this table. I actually want you to, the only thing that you probably need to memorize is the construction of the 30, 60, 90 triangle, and then the 45, 45, 90 triangle. And then from all of that, you can deduce this information. So no, do not memorize this table. Learn how this table is constructed and use those skills to actually solve problems. And that is all I have for this particular video. Our next video, we will talk about reference angles, which will be a very acute issue that we need to deal with. But until then, this is Bob Boyle, signing off.